All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started today. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there, and thanks for taking the time out of your busy day and also your holiday to join our webcast. My name's Katie. I'm the marketing manager for Auritas, and I'll be your host for today. Everyone should be able to see my screen, and although you guys are muted, it doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. I strongly encourage everyone to ask questions throughout the presentation via the chat feature, and then at the end of the presentation, I'll be reviewing everyone's questions during our Q&A portion of the webcast. You guys will see here in just a second a agenda slide. This is kind of what we're going to be covering today. An overview, some different versions of VIM support packs that OpenText is coming out with, what to do after a VIM installation or upgrade, why you should upgrade, and then again, we'll be ending the webcast with a quick Q&A session. Just to introduce some of our speakers to you guys today, there on the far left, we have Deepak Sood, who's our CTO. He spent the past 2 decades in the data and content management space, and Deepak has presented on numerous topics at various SAP events and regularly contributes his expertise to enterprise business leaders. There next in the blue, you will see Suresh Marala, our senior ECM consultant here at Auritas. Suresh has spent significant time in his career working on SAP implementations for numerous customers, and lately he's been training his team here at Auritas on VIM and other OpenText offerings. You'll see myself next to Suresh. Again, I'm the marketing manager, and then next to me in the light blue, you'll see Alex Bateman, and he is the marketing specialist here at Auritas. So for everyone here who may not be familiar with who Auritas is, you're just hearing of our name for the first time, or maybe you're wondering what exactly it is we do, I'm just going to give you guys a very brief introduction. So we've been in the business for over 15 years, and we're founded in 2003. We're headquartered just outside of Orlando, Florida. We're well known in the SAP ecosystem as the data and content management experts, as well as the industry leader in delivering complex ECM, ILM, and SAP HANA optimization solutions. We're known for leveraging our decades of SAP and OpenText expertise to maximize the use of native functionality, which enables our customers to do more with less. We stress the phase process before technology, which largely is in part due to the Auritas vision, which is to help you implement an overall data management strategy to meet your digital transformation goals. This includes reducing your SAP IT footprint for HANA readiness, as well as managing all your diverse documents, which kind of just so happens to be what our webinar topic is today. Stressing the approach of process before technology enables our clients to be more flexible, run leaner, and eliminate wasteful spending. Here on the next slide, you'll see our core services. You can see that we offer comprehensive solutions at every stage of the information lifecycle. We do this better by addressing key business drivers, considering the customer experience, operational processes, and your business model as we engineer and execute unique action plans in order to align your business with IT strategy. With all that being said, we're going to kind of jump into the meat of our presentation today, and I'm going to hand things off to Deepak to get things started.
Thank you, Katie. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this webcast. I'm doing a quick introduction on this. I think the core content about our webcast is why it's time for those of you who already have vendor invoice management implemented in your environment to decide or look into doing an upgrade on it. But also, I understand that we have folks or people in our audience who have not looked into the vendor invoice management process in a holistic fashion, or for that matter, you have not implemented the functionality in that area. So I promise not to dwell on it too much, but I decided that I'll take the opportunity to talk about what exactly vendor invoice management provides you as a benefit. And I have 2 slides, and after that, we're going to go into the meat or the core content of this presentation. So what are the challenges you typically have for an optimal invoice management process? The first piece is, receiving that information properly. You already know that, no matter how we are suggesting or looking into the digital age and the digital economy, we still have processes where we are receiving information from multiple sources. And paper is still a big contributor towards that. And with that, as you can see, we are writing some of the things published by different organizations and different groups. There are still about 80% of the invoices that are paper based. And we want to build a process, or for you to have seamless access to both structured and unstructured information. Of course, you want to digitize them. You want to scan that paper or capture that PDF document in one way or another. But taking it to the next level is the fact that, can I convert that unstructured information back into structured? So we will talk about OCRing that content, making it that it is populated in the SAP system together. But then the second process comes around matching and approvals. In this process, what we and I'm going to touch inquiries and exceptions also, but we are looking at how do we cross match that information, PO based invoices versus non-PO based invoices, or for that matter, the approval process. What kind of processes do we want to build for certain kind of approvals? From the surface level, it looks easier. Well, we have built-in processes, and this is how we are working day in and day out. Absolutely right. But what happens is that these are all processes, that are in the people, or in the post or the designation they are in the organization. They do it day in and day out, and it's all in their mind. You might have documented it somewhere, but it is not put together into the application itself. In other terms, tomorrow somebody else comes, should the system be telling you, hey, if you process it this, the next step is, hey, route it to that particular person, and you don't have to worry about it. Those things are out of the box, not being put together. And again, vendor invoice management is able to address that, areas around inquiries and exceptions. Exceptions being a big contributor towards handling the things manually. We will recognize, hey, we are a unique organization. We have very unique processes out there, and that's why we create exceptions. But if you take a holistic view, if you look outside the picture, you will find these exceptions are being addressed by other organizations in a similar or a different way. But the point doesn't go away, that there are solutions now within the software, in the software world, that can address those unique exceptions for you. How do you do it? With the out of the box functionality that comes with an upgrade, or customizations that you might need to incorporate as a quick connection between the systems. That's something you have to look into. And of course, vendor invoice management process is able to address that. Last but not the least, it's a huge ROI, a strong driver for you implementing this process that runs around discounts and payments. And still, in spite of putting all those processes together, there are a lot of discounts and payments that are being ignored, or payment discounts that you can avail to. But if you implement this invoice management process correctly, you can take a very, very strong benefit out of that. So I'm going to touch another slide around why have this content merger with your data. So if you blend this information together into two peers in your organization, one is having a structured information, another one is unstructured. So everything being unstructured, managed by whether it is Outlook, SharePoint, or any other unstructured platform where you are capturing the information, I think ideally it is a driver of organizations to say that I would like to have majority of my information, if not all, put into a platform like SAP. And for unstructured, is there a way I can link that information together? Number one, digitize it. Number two, link it where I can access both structured and unstructured content from a same location. This is what the relationship between SAP and OpenText brings together. There is a background, communication protocol called the archive link, which makes you access that information from SAP transaction codes, from a Fury angle, and if you have SAP Extended ECM solution, available to you, you can even see that information from outside the process also. So the four pieces that we are able to define in this exercise is that we are able to eliminate paper, meaning you do not have to have a paper copy. You will have a digitized content out there. You are able to access content and context all together in one way, because not only you are capturing the content, but now you are OCRing it and linking it all together with the business object. You are building an association with the SAP's functionality and taking it all the way along into the different levels where you're going into. And last but not the least, manage your data volumes out there. And I would add to it one more function, that you are now able to do compliance with that. So if you have areas like California Data Protection Act, GDPR compliance, or certain other pieces, and you are building your policies to address that, wouldn't it be nice that you say that in one go, if I'm able to comply my structured information, while my unstructured information is complying at the same time? If you blend this information together, you are on your way to address that part. So these are some of the best practices and the value adds that comes with blending data and document together. I would pass the microphone over to Suresh now to cover rest of the slide content.
Thank you, Deepak. As you know, OpenText VIM, it has been there for a long time, and it is a add-on tool for SAP. So as part of the VIM installation, you also get another product called Document Access. It's also called ABAP add-on. So if you look at the top of the diagram, there is a single hierarchical view of the business process in the SAP screenshot. And the product is called DocuLink. This one process can touch all of your modules in SAP. And some of the modules have been listed at the bottom. You can see SAP CRM, sales and distribution, PLM, material management. It also links to a few other modules. And the connection between, again, as mentioned by Deepak, it's actually the archive link which connects this communication between the storage and the SAP modules. Yeah, so here you can extend, make use of SAP link, archive link. Yeah. Now, what is this AP automation? The vendor invoice management automation. So it consists of six steps. The first step is receiving the paper invoices or the email. There are many other sources can be from EDI, Ariba using CXML. You can actually link third-party tools like Talia, other various ways to process the invoices within VIM. The first thing is receiving the invoices from various sources. So once you receive the invoices, you can scan the paper invoices, emails can be automated, Ariba integration can be automated, and also Excel, where you can have your own custom data where you can upload into VIM with a small custom programs. So all these benefits you see on the right side are traceable, and there is a transparency across every step of it. And you can always go back and check what invoices were processed. And all these paper invoices and the email invoices require some kind of OCR capabilities. So to extract metadata, OpenText has created a product. It used to call Invoice Capture Center. This transformation step involves OCR engine. Initially, it started as an Invoice Capture Center, and now it is called Business Capture Center. OpenText is working on a new product called IES. We will talk about that in the next slide. What this OCR does is it reviews, it goes through your paper or the PDF or the TIFF format. It will extract all the metadata and process it to for VIM. IES, this is the latest OCR product from OpenText, and it is called Information Extraction Services. This product is built on AI, self-learning, machine learning. It does not require any underlying database. Typically, when you have a VIM, you actually have the staging tables where you upload the vendor data, full loads, delta loads, even the purchase orders, item header level, which is not required because there is no database. And this IES as a self-learning, as it processes the vendor invoices over the time, it knows what need to be extracted. It knows the vendors. It will learn from itself, and it will capture the data required from the invoices.
Suresh, do you think then, that, in a conventional way, that when we use the OCR, the ICC process, there was always a learning process that was put together where we say that you have to learn, the system has to learn how the invoices are coming and how we train the system. There's a training process that is going on. Does IES take away the training process?
Yes, there is no training required anymore with the IES product. So it has a self-learning capabilities. Whatever we used to train by vendor, picking up certain fields does not have to happen anymore.
Right. That's a huge value add.
That's a very big value, yes. So once we get the metadata, so what are we trying to do here? The metadata will automate your process. There is no training required, as I said. So the recognition rates will go up automatically with the IES. With the BCC and ICC, there's a lot of training required. And there's also something called perfect invoice. OpenText recommends, hey, you need to have a certain format to recognize most of the fields. So that will be still in the case, but overall, with the self-learning capabilities, it will know each vendor format itself, and it will extract the data based on it. So once the data is extracted, the metadata, OpenText has a built-in business rules. There are many business rules for PO invoices, non-PO invoices. What these rules do for you is, based on the data, it will pick up more data from SAP, and it fills in the missed fields. So once you have all the data in perfectly, you can view it in the dashboard, in a VIM analytics, and also in VIM dashboard like VIM workplace. And these pre-built rules can be extended, modified with your own custom logic. Once these rules are run, the next step is to go through a business exceptions for each PO and non-PO. OpenText out of the box provides more than 100 exceptions. We'll see it in the next slide. These exceptions are country specific also, and they can be extended, they can be modified. And these exceptions will allow you to stop a process by a certain actor or a role which is defined within VIM, and they can be fixed using the VIM workplace. Yeah. So this exception handling, all the data is passed through PO and non-PO. There are separate business exception rules which go through. Based on the exceptions you have configured for the PO and non-PO, if there are no exceptions, then what it will happen is it will directly go for a posting the PO invoices. For a non-PO, there is a approval process. You can always make use of it. If it's a pre-approved invoices, you can always post them. So this is the VIM workplace is more like a filtered version of your business workplace where only OpenText work items are seen. Instead of VIM workplace, you can always use a out-of-the-box portal OpenText provides. And there's also a Fiori process. So what are the benefits of using this business workplace? You can see all the work items. It's a PO, non-PO, credit memos, everything is in one place. It is easily accessible by the processors who are working with the documents. And they can view what exceptions are on the document. When they open the document, they can clearly see what the exception is. And they can always simulate from there also what are the other exceptions which could happen for the document. In many cases, what so happens is if there is a bad document or something is wrong, they can always send that back to vendor with a return to vendor functionality. So as I mentioned, the approval process is mostly for non-PO invoices. So here, what OpenText has done, they have their own portal. You can also approve from business, the VIM workplace. You can also make use of the latest technologies using Fiori for approval process. It mentions that it does not need a license because Fiori is part of the SAP package.
Suresh, quick questions on the Fury approval process. Are there apps that have been provided by OpenText for the approval process, or do they integrate with the standard functions that have been provided by OpenText on Fury, or
No,
by SAP?
OpenText has its own app for Fiori where they can do not only approvals, they can also enter non-PO cost assignments. They also came with a new Fiori app for supplier self portal where a vendor can log into their supplier self portal and monitor what invoices have been paid, what invoices are in process. And also in addition, they can also check the blocked PO invoices through Fiori. So when this approval goes through, it sends a email first to the Outlook or one of the email systems you use, and you can always add a link to that where you can access this work item to be approved.
Great, great. So there are a lot of functions that are coming along. Do you think all these functions are linked with the OpenText, the newer versions, or they are still available, or they can be implemented in the earlier versions of OpenText also? I mean, VIM.
So since 7.5, these have been included. So before 7.5, you might not have those functionalities. So finally, now the last thing is the reporting. So once all the invoices have been posted and consolidated, now it's time for the reporting. There are VIM analytics reports. There are also something called centralized reports where you can find the aging processes of invoices, liability or accruals by month. It also provides an extension to your KPIs. And there is a BW add-on, you can make use of it, where VIM data can be passed on to BW. It already comes with the built-in DSOs, cubes, everything. The only thing is not there is the Business Explorer where you have to build your own dashboards from the BW data.
One of the questions, Suresh, many times we are being asked is also that, the standard reporting functions, although they are quite competent and they are, they provide a lot of value add, but many times customers have additional requirements, additional reporting requirements, or they want to build additional dashboards. Can you shed some light out there? Can that be enhanced? And what are the common things that are being asked to update those dashboards?
Again, every customer has their own requirements. What I found is the central reports are good, but again, it requires a lot more drilling down, downloading, and looking at the information. Most of the time I face is they want to see the life cycle reports. They want to see a better way to do liability reports. So those things, I believe I heard OpenText is planning to deliver these life cycle report. I heard in one of the webinars, they're working on it. It's like a future. Maybe in one of the support packs, they will add it.
Understood. But we also suggest the fact that if there is a requirement right now, the current dashboards can be enhanced to incorporate those reports into your reporting engine.
Yes, they can extend some of the reports provided. They can be extended. I've seen people extending, adding more fields and getting what they wanted, but it's not just out of the box. So these are the 6 steps for the AP automation. Most of the people who have VIM, they might have seen all these. Now coming to the various roles in our organization which uses VIM. So at a high level, there is a finance area where AP is part of the finance. All processors, AP processors are knowledgeable. So they need expertise from tax experts, treasury people, buyers, all these things. And in addition, there are also uh, receivers for the PO invoices where they are receiving goods. There are approvers. Sometimes, within VIM, you could have a line level approval based on the cost center owners. So it will allow you to be approved by the cost center owners. And this need to be monitored also. So you have a ownership of somebody is taking the ownership of this product. In addition, you also need administrators, payable managers who are monitoring the progress. There is no backlogs within the system. And also business partners where your suppliers, all all the vendors, private providers, all these banks linking, you're paying your payments through ACH or some kind for the payment runs, for the posted invoices, and then obviously the auditing. So there are many. We came out with this. Not all are applicable for every customer, but how this VIM automation will help you uh, in fixing some of these risks. So the first thing is the digitizing, the archiving the paper, which is a high cost, and sometimes the papers are lost within the approval process, and there is no way to track the suspected duplicates. People are spending a lot of time inputting the data manually. There's an issue. Sometimes it could be a mistake. So a lot of things like we don't know if there are any discounts applicable for that vendor, and sometimes the payment terms are over. There's no way to track. So aging is not tracked. So there are so many issues can be solved by with the VIM automation. It not only solves your paper and email. You could have EDI, other channels where it links, and you have one place where your data is stored. You can always go back and check in one place. With the OCR capabilities, most of the data is already extracted, and it is into your VIM workplace where there is a minimal time you have to spend on each invoice. So it improves your time, and then it also gives you uh, additional benefits of making use of. It's a compliant product, all that. So as I said, the vendor invoice management has been there for many years. It went through a lot of transformations and lot of versions. So I'm going to cover only a few versions. So what I've seen when 5.2 came, they always come with the initial version first, the new version, and then support packs coming every quarter. That every support pack can contain new functionality or fixes to the some of the problems or the errors, and some enhancements, some performance enhancements, new functionality. All that is included with the support packs. And I also observed one of the things is every 2 to 3 years they come out with new versions. So 5.2, then 6.0, and they also have support packs every year, like 4 support packs. So 6.0 then came. There was a big major design change from 6.0 to 7.0. So in 6.0, what we saw was just one screen. With 7.0, we started seeing tabs. Images started showing up on the right side, the comments, all that. With the 7.5, much more improvements, integration into extended ECM. Now we can see even instead of using validation client in OCR, now we have single click entry. Fury has been added. The old IIC, where integrated invoice cockpit, where people used to use, now has been replaced by VIM Workplace for better performance. And there is with the VIM Workplace, now you have you can view teams. You can create your own teams and monitor. You can view if somebody's on a vacation, you can take over their work items. There's so many options now, and it also gives you what I'm working on, like an inbox, what I've completed. You can view all of that with the VIM Workplace. And there's also new functionalities we add in, like recalling the approval work items. So those new features have been added. And there's also improvement in the new VIM Analytics report. So they came out with a new VIM Analytics report, which is much more performance oriented. The old one was not showing all the details. So they came out with a new VIM Analytics. And with 16.3 now, as many customers moving towards S4 HANA, The older versions does not work. So 7.5 does not support for HANA. So you have to upgrade to 16.3. So there is more changes coming on the FI side where Miro is used for posting both. You can have a simple mode implementation out of the box, or you can use the classic mode. It supports both, but the Vim has to be at 16.3 version. So what OpenText has been doing till December 2018 was they were releasing support packs every quarter. Every 3 months, you would see one support pack was released. But lately, what they decided from 2019, you'll only see 2 support packs. That first 6 months, one, second 6 months, the other one. Consistently, OpenText has been delivering new versions every 2 to 3 years, and with new functionality, uh, with new performance, new add-ons like Fiori. Portal also got changed over the years. Now the current version 7.5 SP8, it works for ECC 6.0, and the 16.3, as mentioned before, it works with S4 HANA. So currently, the following versions are supported. If you see 1610, 1709, 1809, these are the only HANA versions currently supported with 16.3. As more support packs come, the Vim will be integrated with the new HANA, like the 1909, which is coming this year. So what typically what I've seen when I go to a Vim customer for a new install or after upgrade, so the first thing what they do is they try to stabilize the product first. They usually, like, there's a backlog of invoices when you're doing an upgrade or new install. So they try to stabilize the product and then work with the AP team. Like if they are moving from a 6.0 or a 5.2 to 7.5, there is a big screen change. The process is a little bit different. You're moving from IIC to Vim Workplace, so Fiori, all these getting added. So there's some learning. They make sure that AP team is trained perfectly. And once as they learn what is causing some of the issues, they try to create their own small customizations so that it will speed up the process of posting the invoices. And in many cases, I observed that after this Vim install, nobody goes back and checks, hey, what support packs have been released? Do I need to look at the release notes? Are they applicable for me? They only go back when they face an issue or an error. They open a ticket. Hey, the OpenText support comes back and says, hey, you need to move to this support pack or this version. This will help you. Until then, it's working perfectly. Why should I go for another version, or why should I apply support pack if it's working perfectly? So customers can avoid, because of this, they can avoid upgrade if they align with the releases once a year at least. So now the next nine reasons to upgrade. Deepak, can you take over?
Sure. So thank you, Suresh, and folks. As you can see, that there are a lot of those new things that are coming along as part of the upgrade process, and especially with the change in the SAP's environment, whether you are moving from ECC over to Suite on HANA, or you're going towards S4 HANA, especially what are the version requirements that you need to look into. So as you have a roadmap for moving towards, let's say, S4 HANA, well, of course, there is a prep time. There is a preparation, whether you're going through a greenfield deployment versus a system conversion or a brownfield deployment. Well, there are these things that you have to look into from a vendor invoice management functionality perspective, whether it is a new deployment or whether it is upgrade of your current functionality as part of system conversion. And this is what we wanted to emphasize, that if you have a roadmap, these are some of the things you want to look into and why you want to look into. So we're going to quickly run down for all the different reasons you need to look into for doing an upgrade into the VIM functionality or vendor invoice management functionality, starting with upgrade to S4 HANA. I think I have talked about it I'll further in detail also. Of course, there is a huge improvement with the S4HANA implementation by itself, but at the same time, if you're looking at making sure that you are in full compliance of it, there are, you want to make sure that your vendor invoice management functionality is upgraded to 16.3 or a later version as and when you want to do it. Next requirement that comes is your maintenance concerns. Again, we are talking about what versions are now left for support. And Suresh has mentioned that we are only left with 2 versions that are in support right now from OpenText. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot continue to use the earlier version. For sure you can, but hopefully if you're enhancing processes, if you're making changes, or if you're doing support path upgrade, if there is any kind of breakage that is happening or any process that has broken and you expect a proper support coming from your software vendors, in this case SAP and OpenText, well, you have a risk out there. And this is why it is in the interest of everybody to stay up to date and make sure that you have all of those things covered, and you get full support for all the feature functions, both from SAP as well as for the OpenText. Another reason is your global expansions. Now, I cannot talk specifically about one company, but this is a common practice for larger organizations like yours who have SAP implemented. There are a lot of actions happening that requires acquisitions, mergers, and sometimes divesting also. As you are expanding your footprint into different countries and all, you will find that the different requirements come for complying with accounts payable functionality for different countries. Well, how about starting with a really basic one? What about making sure that you have the support for multi-currency out there, the Unicode language support or multi-language support that comes out there, or that could be a requirement, or for that matter, if you have to do intercompany postings, how exactly are you going to address that as part of your vendor invoice management functions? You also might have seen that there are new requirements coming for electronic postings and all. We just broached that subject. We have not gotten into the details on that one, where we say Italy has a new requirements coming in, and so does Mexico. And Suresh, as we go later in the presentation, maybe you can just touch on those, that what are those specific requirements and how the newer versions of VIM are able to address all of those requirements coming in. But these are all the reasons that help you enhance and upgrade. Your upgrades will help you comply with all of those needs. The next slide shows about your value add with Fury. As you know, now finally, this is a very strong platform where a lot of customers are moving in, and they are finding that their users are able to address or do their job functions a lot more efficiently, effectively. You are now not restricted to a desktop or a laptop. You are able to expand this whole solution onto different mobility platform, whether it is iPad or iOS or the Android-based environments. Now, Vim with the Fury deployment is able to help you address or implement those solutions in those environments. Not only that, they come pre-configured. As Suresh has mentioned, that OpenText has released those apps, and they come with the upgrades that you're doing out there. Suresh, if you want to cover the rest of the 5 reasons, that would be very helpful.
Yes, thank you, Deepak. The next talks about, as if you have an older version, there's a lack of functionality which you want to upgrade. So this is one of the reasons why you should go with a newer version or keep track with the support packs. So there could be new functionality, a lot of defect fixing, performance improvements, and also any compliance related things will be included as part of the releases. So one more thing is that as as people move from SRM is it's on a maintenance mode now, but eventually all the SRM customers have to move to Ariba. That is a new replacement solution, where what OpenText has done for the vendor invoice management, they work with SAP on multiple ways you can integrate, and they created then a Ariba add-on product. It integrates with VIM and SAP. So So there are multiple adapters Ariba provides. It is going through a lot of changes against CI8, CI9, and so with CI9 and CIG, which is a cloud interface gateway, this product was released maybe 3-4 months back. What CIG does is it integrates, it creates a two-way communication from SAP to Ariba, Ariba to SAP. So what VIM has done with the Ariba's help, they came out with a integration through Ariba iDocs. So they created a new link. Uh, it doesn't look like a EDI iDoc, but it's more like a Ariba iDoc. It's a subversion of iDocs where you can integrate. It's a very easy integration. Or you can always use CXML, which is also supported with the latest version. So what happens is Ariba delivers your metadata in CXML format, and the data is transformed into a VIM readable format. On the VIM side, that XML is transformed to uh, like a ABAP table. So, and this data is fed into VIM, and it can be easily. And then the one of the things I observed was customers start with a simple PO process, and as time goes by, they add uh, service entries, blanket orders, drop ships, all kinds of purchase orders. Now these have to be integrated or adjusted to your VIM working. So if you happen to be an older version, this is a good time to make use of upgrade to the latest version. And with the new requirements, you are compliant with the process also. So there are a lot of PO exceptions have been added, a lot of PO functionality has been improved. So you'll notice that with the integration. So as mentioned, every country has their own coming out with their own requirements nowadays. Italy is the for this January 1st, anything they have to use e-documents as a. Mexico introduced something called UID, a unique ID, which is provided by the government. Uh, Switzerland also has similar. There is a something you have to receive from the government, and that has to be part of the invoice process. India also added a new tax system, GST system. So a lot of changes happened on the SAP and on the VIM side to support that. South America is coming out with new requirements this year. So all these have to be compliant. As SAP is compliant, VIM, the vendor invoice management will also become compliant. If the customers, their presence is in those countries, so they have to integrate with the latest support packs. So again, VIM you can start with one channel like paper, email, and you can continue to improve your add-on channels. If you are expanding to other countries, then you have to follow those formats. Like in the Brazil, they use a NFE format. For Italy, it's called a Fattura format. So there are requirements based on each country. You want to add a new channel, and then also if you happen to have a EDI added or Ariba, or you want to integrate a third-party tool like Talia, you can always integrate into VIM. With VIM provides you all the RFC calls where you can make use of it. So how can we avoid upgrade process, simplifying your upgrade process at least? So keep the customizations to minimal, not very high. Um, make use of the out of the box functionality. Build a knowledgeable team. Once you have that, and also take open text offerings with the new product, new version. So when you take a training, you know what they are talking about, and when you're applying the support packs once a year, so you are up to date on your with the maintenance support, with the licensing support, all that you're up to date on the product. So this is a screenshot from OpenText. As I mentioned, OpenText decided to release only 2 support packs a year. So the first one is already delivered uh, for HANA 1809. The second one you see is in the progress. IES is coming. As you go with the newer versions, they require IES to be used. And also you'll see there is a lot of Fiori changes coming for. And also you'll see the reporting. They're going to use embedded analytics, more like a BW reports. And also enhancing the virus, all that security. For the last 6 months, and what they planned is at the third column. So what they want to deliver, and you'll notice that this will be delivered as part of the Q3 2019. That means sometime in August, September. We have the final one. So how Auritas can help? So we can do a health check of your current process. If you have any issues, we can do a quick assessment. We can review what you're facing with any issues. We can do a quick assessment and provide some solutions. If you still want it, if you still plan to go with somebody else, or or you're middle of with implementation with someone else, you want us to check it out, we can check out and help you, guide you at this time also. And Auritas, we believe in long-term relationships. So at any phase, we want to be there, and we want to help if there is any issues you are facing with vendor invoice management or any other products, including ILM, ECM, doc access, anything, archive server, content server, all these.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much, Suresh and Deepak, for teaching us all about the 9 critical reasons that you should upgrade your VIM now. It is time for the Q&A portion of our webcast. We did get quite a few questions this presentation, so I want to make sure that everyone knows that if your question is not answered, we will personally be following up with you with an answer to your question. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Alex, who is our marketing specialist here, to do the Q&A portion of the webcast. Alex?
Thank you, Katie. So our first question, does VIM need a perfect invoice to auto-post? If so, does it offer a standard template? I think Suresh will be able to answer this one.
Yes. What OpenText has done is they did provide a template of the perfect invoice, how the data should be arranged. If it's a PO invoice, is how the line number should be arranged, the quantity, where it should be. So it will allow you, they say 90 to 95%, the perfect invoice will work. You can download it from knowledge.opentext.com.
All right, cool. So another question, we have done a lot of customizations. How does that fit into a VIM upgrade?
So typically what I've seen is many customers do a lot of customizations to make their process much efficient friendly for them. So what Auritas does is they look at what they have done. They will look at 2 things. First, are those repairs or just the customizations? So if it's a repairs, then you have to fix it because after the upgrade, those repairs will be gone. So you have to take a backup, what that functionality is, understand their FDDs, TDDs, and after the upgrade, you make sure that functionality is put back.
All right. Another question. What is the accuracy percentage that one can gain with ICC versus IES?
See, IECC is more of you have to feed the training. Okay, you have to tell, okay, my vendor invoice looks this way. Look for this field here. If it's not able to determine, let's say, a gross amount, it's not able to recognize a gross amount or a reference number. So you have to train the vendor invoice to say, hey, this is where it is. So with the IES, it has a self-learning tool. So depending on what you are picking up for the gross amount, it will learn itself. Hey, and next time, or when that vendor is scanned, or after some time, it knows what the gross amount should be from that invoice. Because there is no training for IES. It's a AI, and it has a self-learning tool. So it might take little time, but over the time, you'll see all the invoices getting recognized, because it is looking at the data also. It is just not checking the vendor invoice. It is checking your backend data. How is that happening? So it's communicating itself and then improving the vendor recognition data itself.
All right, so I think we have time for one more question. The last one is, are there any improvements in the RTV process in the new VIM release?
I don't know what version they have, but there are some few changes RTV went through. But again, it is specific what they are looking for. Maybe I can answer.
All right, that's it for the Q&A. Happy Valentine's Day, and thank you so much for coming. And we'll be sure to send you a recording in a follow-up email in order to view it. So that concludes our webcast. Have a great afternoon, everybody.